people. The doctor really, anybody was able to get things that were off the menu. That was his big thing. He would order things that weren't on the menu. And it always surprised me because he would talk to complete strangers and things that I wouldn't do, and I consider myself outgoing. But later on, Alex and I ended up working together at Atlantic Lab Equipment. We were in different areas of the job, but I went to work with him every day, and I saw how he took his job seriously. He always had great music playing out in the warehouse. That was always nice, and he always seemed really comfortable talking to customers, describing really complex equipment that I barely understood. And I used to hitch rides with Beth and him out to Cape Cod, sharing the back seat with Schnoodle, his dog. And he used to love to go out to the beach, even though he got red like a lobster, no matter how much lotion he put on. Him and I, one of our things when we were out of the Cape was we were searching for the best lobster roll. We must have tried a dozen different places. We never found the right one. I think it was just a good reason to explain why we were spending $30 on a sandwich. So I know everybody has stories to share, and I definitely want to turn it over to his parents. But I do want to say one thing, and it was that Alex had two prominent tattoos on his forearms that said, "Know thyself." And I think that introspection, trying to look inside oneself, is a natural part of being human. But it's ultimately a solitary activity that's going to have limits, because there's things about our subconscious that we have no access to, and no matter how hard we try to look inside, there's doors that we can't open based on our own biochemistry. And I know that especially when it comes to things that make us suffer and have difficulties, it's so important to share it with our loved ones and to look at the relationships that we have and not just necessarily inside of ourselves. And so I hope that we all can learn something from Al on that. I love you, Alex, and I'll miss you, bud. With that, I'd like to hand it over to Patrice and Rick. We'll share some words. Thank you.
Start with the beginning. Okay. When we got married, it took us 6 years to get pregnant. Me's pregnant now. And when I went to the doctor, she said it was a miracle that I had gotten pregnant. And so I look at him as my little miracle that I had for 32 years. He was 9 pounds, very long. And when I was my last month, people kept asking if I was having twins. And I was embarrassed to say no. But I gained 80 pounds. 80 pounds and sick, throwing up for 7 months, but it was worth every minute. I was so happy. He was a happy little boy. The first night though, he slept 6 hours, and I thought that's unusual, maybe, I don't know. And then when he would take his naps in the day, I would have to wake him up, else he'd sleep the whole day. And I thought, well, you know, maybe he just needs more sleep, I don't know. But these are just like little things I saw that like later on in life I look back and I know it's attributed to the chemical imbalance that he had in his brain. You know, when you have a chemical depression, you never have enough energy. And he was always drinking those darn 5-hour energy drinks. Those are so bad for you, Alex. But, you know, and twos came along and everybody kept saying the terrible twos. He never went through a terrible two. He was the sweetest, well-behaved, easy child. I used to have this little nursery book that I would read to him. And I don't know how many rhymes it had in it, maybe like 6 or something. We'd sit on the edge of his little bed and I'd start reading, and all of a sudden one day, he started telling me the rhymes. And I was like, oh, and then I turned to the next story, and he started telling me that, so he has the whole book memorized it too. And I'm like, oh, this kid's gonna be pretty smart. But I also know, like, you know, if he was doing something or trying to make something, he would, like, want it to be perfect. Like, he would try so hard for it to be, he wouldn't want anyone to see it or hand it in unless it was perfect. And later when he started school, he did well in school, but one of his teachers said to me in, like, first grade, you know, I see this thing in Alex that he, you know, gets, like, anxious about his work, and he takes so much time, and he's always the last one to hand in his paper because he's trying to make it so perfect. And she said this, you know, could be a great student, or this might be trouble later in life, and she was right. I just see these as the signs of his illness that kind of crept up, and back then we didn't know, you know, I mean, no one put any diagnosis or label to it, and he did really well in school. Like, all through elementary school, he had straight A's. He got the presidential award for having straight A's. Every teacher he ever had, even in high school, always told me how sweet, kind he was, how smart he was. He was a creative writer. His teachers would tell him he did, like, genius work. And when he was applying to college, Suffolk said that they picked him for this special creative writing class. Only 10 kids out of, I don't know how many, like 1,000 something, I don't know, to be in this creative writing class. But of course, Alex didn't want to go to Suffolk, so I'm like, okay. But, you know, looking at his pictures, he always looked so happy, and he really grew up in a nice neighborhood. River Meadow was like a little, my sister would call it Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Absolutely.
And all the kids, it was a neighborhood, all the kids could run out and play and go in each other's houses and ride their bikes. Alex and one of his friends went around selling rocks one day to all the neighbors. He bought them. He always had a sweet disposition. He had a lot of friends, which saw some last night, and we were really happy for that. He adored his little sister Brianna and would play with her for hours. He loved us Newberry. Oh, he loved Christmas. And I don't know if there's any little kids in here. He believed in Santa until like 6th grade. We were getting worried because tell him. I'm like, who's gonna break the news? Of course, I had to. It was like devastated. He went running upstairs to his room, and oh my God, I felt so bad. And then, of course, wouldn't you know, in junior high, when he got to junior high, he did an essay on finding out about Santa. And he went around interviewing all his friends. What did they do when they found out?
It was traumatic.
Yeah, right. That's what I thought. What did I do to my child? I traumatized my child. And so years later, when he had Juliet, I said, so what are you gonna do about Santa? Are you not gonna have her believe in Santa? He's like, oh no, she's gonna believe in Santa. So then I felt better, I'm like, I guess I didn't traumatize him too much. But yeah, so he loved Christmas, traditions, he loved to have shrimp cocktail at every holiday, we had to have that, roast tenderloin. He loved Christmases at Manor and Papoose and the great dinners my mother would make, and Christmas holidays and winter holidays up at Sugarloaf skiing with all his cousins, and his Manor and Pup, and going to the bag for lunch was his highlight. Chicken fingers was his favorite. And I think it was Brittany's favorite too. And Moose looked like Guntic. We had a lot of good times with the kids, and we had a lot of cousins on that side. He loved he did a lot of the Spartan races. Very challenging, gifted writer, loves snowboarding, music, he's very creative in music. I never understood how he did it, but he said he didn't read music, but he would play and make songs and just play the piano, beautiful. But he did have a very happy childhood, and but as he got older, the depression, I could tell he was starting to struggle more, and he never complained. He always tried to put a smile on his face, get up every day, and try to go to work on getting a degree. He wanted to get a degree in finance. He was trying really hard to finish that. He always tried to be a good son, a husband, a father, a student, all the while carrying this burden of depression and addiction. Now, feeling it myself, I just marvel at how he did this, because at times he was severely depressed, and I don't know how he did everything he did just to get up out of bed was hard today. So for someone and then be struggling with addiction too, and just trying to do what he thought he should be doing, all his roles he had in life and fulfill for us. And I think some people might think that mental illness is a weakness, sign of weakness, but I say no to that. I say he was a very strong person to have endured the struggle as he did. Mental illness is real, and it's just not something you can snap out of. He was strong but gentle, and also brave, and actually he knew that about himself, because I was going through his papers from one of his treatment programs, and they had write like 2 characteristics about yourself, and he had, I'm gentle but I'm strong. And I say brave too, because I know he's the type of kid that would jump in and help anybody, that needed it. In high school, he would come home and tell me how, like, someone was picking on somebody, and he'd go to their defense. One time, when they first got to high school, there was a girl sitting all by herself at the lunch table, and he went over and sat with her to keep her company, because he knew how hard it was the first day of high school, sitting by herself all alone at the lunch table. He's also a bit of a daredevil. I told this story, I think, to Bethany, but we went to Chichen Itza in Mexico. And, I don't know if anybody's been there, but it's this really high pyramid. And you have, in the, you know, there were bricks, like very narrow little bricks, and there's ropes for you to climb up, cause you have to kind of crawl up and hold the rope. And then when you finally get to the top, everyone's standing there like, okay, where's the helicopter to come get us off of this place, you know? And everyone's trying to figure out how they're gonna get down the pyramid. Well, Alex, of course, on the way up, he didn't hold the rope, he just went, dude, get up, get up. And then I was trying to help me and Brianna down. We were like on our butts holding the rope, scared to death, and I looked over and he was running down the pyramid.
Oh, no.
I'm like, I couldn't even yell at him because I'm like, I'll scare him and he'll fall off, you know, but
Oh, my goodness.
that's just the kind of, he was like quiet, but he has that daredevil in him sometimes, I don't know. But, we're sure gonna miss him, and, our lives are gonna be different. But we're gonna have to live with this pain, and it's a pain that we'll endure, 'cause, you know, it's a pain to have had, I don't know what I'm gonna say. It is, I'm just happy that we had a chance to have our son for the 32 years we did, and, we will be forever grateful. Our love will be forever and eternal, and I believe someday we'll be together again. As we move forward in our lives, we're gonna try and honor his life every day with little things, and think of ways we can, do that as we move forward. I just wanna say rest in peace, my dear Alex.
Yeah, I think it's important to, you know, to kind of spread the word about, you know, the difficulties that Alex had and you know, the addiction problems and you know, I think a goal for all of us that would be nice would be, you know, to try and, you know, talk about it and reach out, you know, to save someone else. You know, and you know, that's what I've been trying to do. I think it's already starting to help me, you know, along, but, you know, we were so blessed yesterday with all the people that came, you know, to the wake. And you know, some of his old friends, you know, we haven't seen in, you know, 15, 16, 17 years, you know, and they, you know, come up to me and, you know, little Becca Stein, well, you know, you remember me? And I said, of course I remember you. You know, so, you know, he, you know, touched the hearts of many people, you know, and you know, you know, we're blessed, you know, with family and, you know, everyone, you know,
And Alex was blessed to have you got
coming and supporting us, you know, it's, yeah, you know, Patrice had touched on, you know, Alex's writing and you know, the numerous awards he got for writing, and then, you know, he drafted some of you know, when his grandfather passed away, he drafted this, you know, nice letter, you know, a tribute to him and stuff, and you know, about, you know, his life and stuff like that, and
he wanted to be like his grandmother.
right.
That's what got him into the writing program and stuff. He
But-
wanted that in.
But I was surprised that, you know, when when Patrice's dad passed away, that, you know, Alex, you know, had said he was gonna read the letter, you know, at the mourner's lunch that we had. And I was just so impressed and so amazed. He got right up there and rattled the thing right off, you know, and he did an unbelievable job. I was so proud. I didn't think he could do it, you know, and but I just want to read, you know, a little poem that
It's about his love of the piano.
that Alex wrote.
Yeah,
No.
he loved music. He also played the guitar, but he loved the piano.
So it's called Keys to My Heart.
Yeah, Dulce.
Okay. Dulce tones resounding as my fingers keep on pounding. Relentlessly on ivory keys, it seems this thirst is hard to please. In my head, the beat keeps tapping as my feet just keep on rapping. Pedals forged from dull gold metal that hold this heavenly tune. I cannot stop once I start. With these sweet keys, unlock my heart. No.
That's beautiful.
No. We thank you, everyone, for the support and, you know, helping us, you know, and, you know, let's remember them, you know, all those fun times we had, you know, skiing and eating and, you know, up at the lakes and the, you know, all the adventures we took and, you know, getting the kids out to Snowbird for the engagement and you know, it was just such, you know, rewarding times. But thank you very much.
Nice job. Nice job.
If you don't know me, I'm Alex's wife, Bethany. Thank you all so much for coming, supporting him, and supporting us. Alex, just the best guy, and just don't know. Make sense of my words right now. I struggle to even begin to put into words the life-changing effects that Alex had on others and on me. He was always the better writer, but I'm gonna try to do him. I'm gonna try my best. There was no one like Al. He was everything I needed, and I didn't even know I needed it. When I met him, I didn't want to be in a relationship. I was happy being single, and then I saw him, and my whole world changed. As I said, when I saw him, I actually felt, like, I know it's crazy to say, I felt like this electrical pulse throughout my body. And I knew I could never pull myself away from him, even if I tried. No one got my soul right like he did. He truly brought me to life. He filled my world with the best kind of laughter. He would just laugh all the time. He would love to belt out songs about everything and anything. He would wake up and start singing about his daughter Julie or his dog or just something really stupid. You know, it's just the best. I have videos if you want to see. He literally would do anything he could to make the people around him smile. He loved to give people nicknames. I was going through all the nicknames he had for me, or not even close, and I had about like 50 written down. But most importantly, I was his beeb, and his daughter Julie always called Munkamal. Any day and any time, he would just do whatever he could to make me, Julie, and anyone else around him laugh. He brought so much joy to everything in life, especially the holidays. As Patrice and Rick were saying, Christmas was his favorite. His nostalgic personality made me feel like we were waking up like 6-year-olds on Christmas morning every single year. He would always beg me, can we open a present? I'm like, well, we're 31, but he was truly like a child at Christmas, and it was the best. He even found joy in the most mundane tasks. Like, he'd get so excited, he'd say, Babe, you want to go to Costco? And I didn't really get excited about Costco, but we'd spend like 2 to 3 hours in Costco and spend way too much money on like notepads for life. But, you know, I'll always love Costco now. Truly learned from your son, your brother, and Alex, what real love was. The deep, not always easy, but always worth it kind of love. The love you feel through your whole body, not just your heart. I will be forever grateful that he chose me to be his wife. He was a family man. Alex was truly the most genuinely happy when he was just spending time with families. He loved to just, you know, get lobster rolls or eat 5 subs in a row. or like, his favorite activity would be like, can Julie and I have a camp out? And that meant just like sitting on the couch with Julie watching a movie. Like, he just wanted to just be with family. He had a blast boarding the Loaf and catching waves in Wellfleet, among countless other adventures that I'll always hold close to our heart. When we were 23 years old, we decided to go out and buy a puppy. And he toted Nellie around like she was his baby. He was scared to let her go down the stairs when we got her, and it was just very, very cute. And then when Juliet arrived, that was his world, and he's her world. I could tell his whole world instantly shifted to make sure she became the center of his universe for his eternity. When the two of them would play together, the room they were in filled with so much light, laughter, and big smiles. All he wanted in life was to be with his family, and he always would say a Subaru Forester and a house for his girls. He taught me about the brooms, made me understand the greatness of Harry Potter, all things North Shore related, where to get the best beach pizza, which I had never even heard of, and that was one of our first dates. I still don't really understand it. He had the most eclectic and just incredible music taste, and he'd be able to just he'd say, I got a Beeb song for you, and he'd put it on, and it would be like the most perfect song that I've ever heard. Like, he just had this way of like just picking out just really incredible music taste. He got me. Al was good at everything without even trying. It was amazing, but also extremely frustrating. I am an avid runner. I've been running for years, and Al decided I'm going to take up running. He could run like a 6.5-minute mile, no problem, and then leaving us who actually trained breathless in his tracks. We ran a half marathon a couple years ago, and you know, I was training for it, and then he decided he's gonna train for it. Somehow he beat me in the race. And he also took a break to vomit a couple times, get a snack, and still was just like hanging out at the finish line. He loved to travel. We love to travel, as evidenced by his big smile and signature 2 thumbs up. It was in every picture from every state and country we visited together. He just loved to do the 2 thumbs up picture. I'm gonna do that in every picture. He radiated so much compassion for others' struggles. He taught me the importance of not judging someone for their past, but where they're headed. He would give anyone the time of day. He wouldn't judge people. He was physically strong. I mean, he has the largest forearms I've ever seen. But even more so, just the most emotionally and mentally strong person I've ever met. He was so brave and so vulnerable. And he was never afraid to face his demons and put his work in. He was an amazing musician, a talented cook among countless other talents. He was truly just the best soul inside and out I've ever met. And I will forever cherish the time we were able to spend and the beautiful life and daughter we created together. Now I can do everything I can to raise her the way he would want us to raise her. In the words of one of our favorite songs, "You are buried in my soul, like California gold. You found the light in me that I couldn't find. So when I'm all choked up and I can't find the words, every time we say goodbye it hurts. When the sun goes down and the band won't play, I'll always remember us this way. Your heart will forever be in mine for all time, so I love you."
That was beautiful.
Do not pity the dead, Harry, pity the living, and above all, those who live without love. That is a quote from The Deathly Hallows, where Albus Dumbledore is speaking to Harry Potter. My brother and I loved Harry Potter, but he also probably would have laughed and called me a nerd for choosing to read a Harry Potter quote today. We did not discriminate between the books and movies. We have read each book at least 3 times and read more Harry Potter movie marathons than I could count on both hands. I know he'd be disappointed in me if I don't do everything I can to instill this same love of Harry Potter in his daughter Juliet. My brother had so much love in his life. To really know him was to love him. He was one of the funniest people I know. He could come up with a song about literally anything, like his rendition of "Come All Ye Faithful" that was changed to "Come All Ye Puppies." I could give many more examples, but it's just not the same without him here. Our world will never be the same without him here. I'll miss the way he greeted me by saying "Sup yo" when we were our countries many years ago. I'll miss going on adventures together, but always having to stop at Whole Foods first and get at least 3 various health beverages, or bevs, as he called them. I'll miss his slightly over-competitive nature at all games, trivia, and activities. I'll miss how in the last few years he would tell me he loved me anytime we said goodbye. I'm heartbroken, but I'm grateful. My brother... Okay. My brother chose the best person I know to be his partner in life. I believe that Beeb, or Beth as many of you know her, brought my brother and I closer together. He lit up when she was around. I've never seen him as happy as the years they were together. I'm grateful for Alex giving me my only sister, and for Alex indeed making me an aunt to Juliet, who is the light of our family's life. It's hard for me to imagine a world where my brother is no longer physically here with us. Even though it feels impossible right now, I know someday in the future we will be okay because a piece of my brother lives on in Juliet. I didn't write this down, but when my brother was really struggling when he was younger, he apologized to me for not being a better brother, and I feel like I should say that in front of everyone that he was actually the best brother.